Okay, yep, that's showing up. Hopefully it works properly this time. Kia ora, g'day, welcome back. Yeah, I got sent this video ages ago, actually, so apologies to the individual. Actually, there's a couple of people that sent me through this video. I'm pretty sure this video, where was it? When I had a look, I think it said it was about 11 months old. So that's not when I was sent it, by the way. I think I was sent this probably a few months ago. It was sent to me last year, but I don't think it was sent 11 months ago. Anyway, this is, what's the title of this one? Defence asked why they didn't support Heston Russell, former 2 Commando commander, against the ABC in, I'm guessing this is a defamation case in terms of what would be after that. So short video, I'm going to play it, give my 2 cents. This is in response to some questions that have come through as well separately from people that have asked, hey Joe, really like your content. Just curious, random question. Do you think people should still join the Defence Force? This has come from over in Australia, considering it, but based on everything that's been happening, what I've been seeing in the news, the treatment of former soldiers, etc., it doesn't, or it's causing second thoughts. Yeah, be interested to know your thoughts. Interesting question. That question, I thought I'd just tie in with this video and the links that were sent. And also, yeah, I was going to be off the comms for a bit from the last post that I put up there. Again, thanks to those people that reached out asking if everything was okay. Yeah, everything's all right. It's just busy with trying to get some other stuff done, as I touched on in another live. But I figured, you know what, bloody, I enjoy doing the videos that I do on here, and getting bogged down with some of that work has been a bit frustrating and annoying, I'll be honest. And I thought, man, don't let that take away from the stuff that I do actually enjoy doing. Now, I can't say that I'll enjoy listening to this. I don't know what they're about to say, but we'll get into it. And then some of the other reactions and jumping on YouTube and doing the little things that I do in my little space, I actually enjoy it. So I figured, well, where I can, when I'm not too flat out, I'll jump back on here, and it's a good way to maybe vent some frustration, or forget about some of the frustration from some of the other work. So anyway, let's get into this and see what he has to say.
Did the Defence Department provide financial or legal assistance to former Special Forces Commander Heston Russell in his defamation case against the ABC recently?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
Sorry, straight away. I love the question. At least this guy's been honest, whoever he is. I don't know who he is. Don't particularly care. But I love the follow-up. Why not? Why would you not provide any legal assistance, I think is what he asked, to he's a former member of the Australian Defence Force who's been confronted by the media, and false claims and allegations are being made against Heston Russell and his platoon by, I'm assuming, the public funded media. The Defence Force doesn't and or won't step in to help, to assist, to bloody have his back. Just yeah, seems piss poor to me.
I mean, that was a private civil matter that he commenced, those defamation proceedings. And the way that we provide legal support to...
Bloody hell, the quality of this is pretty average. Quality... what? Sorry, it only goes as far as 360. Rubbish. Maybe there's a better quality video somewhere, but anyway, this is one I've been sent. Interesting just hearing him say, yeah, okay, I suppose. So it is Heston Russell that's brought the case against the media for defamation. But so, like, you would like to think that their Defence Force would still reach out in some sort of way and go, hey, you know, because he's obviously not going to bring a defamation case unless he's confident that he's going to win it, which he did win. it shouldn't have needed to be brought forward in the first place, because the media should have just done their job properly with integrity instead of being the conniving little backstabbing pricks that they are. So, yeah, still, we're here to hear why the Defence Force did nothing.
Former ADF members would be through a what I describe as a lace payment made under the legal service directions, and that just doesn't allow for that sort of circumstance.
Wouldn't it have been best in the best interest of the Defence Department to ensure Mr. Russell won his defamation case so he could clear his name and the reputation of the November platoon and the Australian Defence Force in general?
That's a cool question. Oh, mate, he's a bit quiet now. He looks like a bit of a deer in the headlights. Hey, look at that face.
I'm not sure if that's a comment, Senator, or a question.
No, would it not be in the best
Definitely sounded like a question to me.
interest? It's a question.
Look, I mean, that's a...
I think I can see why people sent me through this video to do a reaction to. This is, as I watched this for the first time, hearing there's only been a couple of questions so far. And how long have we been in here? Bloody hell. Just over a minute. The lengthy pauses and the guy just looking shocked or looking like he's searching for the words to say. Right. Says a lot, I guess, to the question that was asked of me in terms of my thoughts on serving in the Defence Force these days. I think I shared in another video, another live that I did, maybe as one of those lives actually that I got a copyright for. Not a copyright strike, but a copyright, and they've therefore it's not showing. Did a whole bunch of lives on bloody hell, the Two Worlds Collide podcast, stuff talking about Ben Roberts-Smith, giving my take. Those videos have all been blocked for whatever reason. Even the NZSAS Pilgrim video, did a reaction to that. Again, I did those live, like what I'm trying to do now. So this one might get blocked as well, copyright or whatever. And yeah, they're gone now. I can't really be bothered going back and doing separate reactions to those. Maybe I will, but yeah, at this time I can't be bothered. Live is just quicker and easier, and it's more just there in the moment in terms of what I'm seeing and hearing and what I'm feeling, and then I just spit out whatever comes to mind. But seeing this guy sit there looks really uncomfortable. Cool questions by the Senate, and just really poor in terms of the responses that I've heard so far. Maybe there'll be better responses, I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, doesn't give that impression. But my thoughts about joining the Defence Force now, I have actually been asked another question. I won't read out the person's name, who asked me directly and basically said if I was preparing to join the army now with the intent of joining the Special Forces or the SAS, would I still go? Given just sort of the landscape of what's been happening with Oliver Schultz, with Ben Roberts-Smith, with the Brereton report, etc., etc. I guess if we had access to this type, I mean, I don't know. Based on the fact that media and accessibility to information and stuff is a lot faster and much more accessible these days than what it was when I was preparing for selection way back when. Maybe it might do. Maybe it might influence the decision and cause me to not want to go. Honestly, I don't know. As I sit back and look at it now, and I think I shared in another video, it definitely puts me off now at this stage of life that I'm at, looking at it. Would it have put me off as a young 18-year-old stepping into the army for the first time? I don't know. I think maybe not, if I'm being completely honest. Younger me probably would have maybe naively thought, right or wrong, that would never happen, or that wouldn't happen to me, or yeah. So looking at it now as an older person, older, not that I feel old, Probably not. I personally, from a personal perspective, but younger me, looking at all the stuff these days, I probably would still join. I think that's just my honest take. Unfortunately, don't have a time machine to be able to fast forward back in time or go back or change things to be able to see what I might do. It is what it is, and I don't know that there's any value in me talking about what I might have done or might not have done if this had been happening during my time back then, because it didn't happen during my time back then, and I did join the military. So anyway, back to this.
A difficult.
Senator, if I could, it's in the best interest of the department for the law to be upheld.
Sort of generic Blinken response is that? Of course it's in the best interest for the law to be upheld. That's what I heard. Right? Is that anus bell? That's what it looks like. No, maybe I'm wrong. It's in the best interest for the law to be upheld. Well, duh, yeah. But that's not his question. Wouldn't it have been in the best interest, or words to the effect of, wouldn't it have been in the best interest for them, these clowns, to provide some sort of support to help Heston Russell prove his innocence and that of the November platoon for the defamation case that was being raised against them, which would then also bring into disrepute the reputation of the Australian Defence Force as a whole. Not is it in the best interest for the law to be upheld? That wasn't the question yet, bloody ball bag.
And there's been a legal process.
Sorry, I've cut him off. And let me hear that. I'm sure he knows that there's been a legal process. He's asking, why didn't you clowns help, basically? Why would you not help a former member of the Australian Defence Force, in this case, Heston Russell, commander of the November platoon, who's raised and brought a defamation case against the media for the purpose, which I'm sure that's anus bell, for the purposes of making sure that, what did he say? That best interest for the law to be upheld. Why wouldn't the Defence Force go and help Heston so that they can uphold the law and hold to account the media that doctored gunshots, that reported false allegations, and that they were the reason that caused for Heston Russell to raise a defamation case in the first place? Not hearing any answers, just hearing some smoke and mirrors trying to be thrown out there. And a legal process was conducted. That's the response for not helping one of your own soldiers, one of your own former soldiers. But that's the type of piss weak leadership that was there, or that is there, seems like.
I see that, but
Yeah.
he won.
No.
But that's not your judgment at the start. I get that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, to be seen to leave one of your senior people out in the cold doesn't augur well for people in the armed forces still.
What a great comment. To be seen to be leaving one of your own out in the cold. Just, you walked out the gate. He's given 15 plus years, if I remember rightly, Heston Russell, that is, of service to Australia as part of a service within the Defence Force. That service to Australia includes the government, the public, etc., etc. And when it would be really helpful for the Defence Force and even the government, dare I say the government, to step in terms of whatever capacity that they can, i.e. holding the media to account for the lies that they spread, would be a good start. But not do anything. I can see why people are throwing the question to me and to themselves and to others, why would anybody want to join and or serve in the ADF? Or in the military in general, regardless of whether it's happening. Like, there's been stuff happening in the UK, particularly in and around the UKSF and 22 SAS in particular, been pumped through the news for allegations of war crimes and stuff as well. And then there's been stuff mentioned whereby members of 22 SAS have resigned and have left the unit because of the rubbish that's been happening over there. Yeah, super sad, man. Anyway, let's get back to hearing what this fellow has to say.
Mr. Russell spent 16 years in the Australian Defence Force and platoon in Afghanistan. He was the subject of a vicious smear campaign by the ABC, who wrongly accused him of war crimes, and the judge was pretty scathing in his comments about the ABC. The federal court has now ordered the ABC to pay Mr Russell more than $400,000 plus costs. Why did a veteran have to fight this public battle alone at his own expense?
Senator, may I make a number of essentially procedural points? I think the first is...
Just as soon as I heard her voice, I just wanted to say, shut up. That's why I would not be on a Senate or a Member of Parliament. But just, it sounds like she's getting ready to rattle off a list of excuses or reasons as to why, when this person is asking the question, and basically just sounds like he's reading prepared notes, which is good. Judge was scathing in his comments to ABC. Yeah, that's all well and good, but being told you're a naughty boy or a naughty girl or a naughty broadcasting agency, to me, doesn't really seem like enough. There's a lot of taxpayers' money going towards that empire, and they can, it seems like they can say and do whatever they like, and there's no actual consequences. Like, they'll get a fine, but that fine and plus costs is, again, taxpayers' money. And I've got no issue with taxpayers' money going towards coming out of that allocation to the ABC and being paid to Heston Russell and to anybody else, and that all the costs get paid. But effectively, it's those people in the, this is my take, right or wrong, those people in the positions of power, let's call it, to shape and deliver a narrative into the community, into the public sector, whereby it's then taken on board and it's run with and it's reposted and people believe it and they go, look at this, there's another war criminal from the commando unit this time, etc., etc. And they can keep adding to that whatever they like, just like they can keep adding gunshot rounds, apparently, in the video footage and keep editing that. But really nothing happens. The decision makers who allow the editing to happen in the first place, the editor who's added those shots and other false information in, the higher ups who oversee the people that are creating these stories and then pumping them out for the public, nobody gets any sort of punishment. No jail time, no personal fines. Even if it was a personal fine, they're funded by the taxpayer and their salaries are coming from the taxpayer. So they're just going to be handing, money back, and then they'll just get it back, probably double the amount, or they'll probably get a pay rise or a promotion. So I don't know that scathing comments from a judge is that helpful. So anyway, coming back to what the guys asked and this lady getting ready to give what I can only imagine is going to be a list of excuses. It doesn't look good, eh? Like, potentially young people that may have watched this with an intent or a desire to want to join the Defence Force, I could understand why they might be putting the brakes on and asking myself and other people questions, asking themselves questions, and wondering, is it worth it? Is that a place that I would want to go, looking at and seeing how little support there is? When you talk about, I guess from a personal perspective, when I talk about the veteran community and people that, love serving with the people, love the job, those two things in that order, the people and then the work, it's the people from those organizations that maintain the bonds and the ties, maybe not as frequently or as regularly as they or as we might like, but it's not the Defence Force that creates that environment. An RSL or an RSA might help in terms of providing a location from time to time, but it's just done by the people that have served. And the challenges that people have, I know from having some good friends, the challenges that former veterans have in terms of just trying to get their entitlements through the Veteran Affairs process and system, that's just another headache that soldiers then have to deal with after, which nobody, the people that I know of anyway, when I joined up and when other people joined up, didn't anticipate that you go and serve and then you come back and then you're looking at oh, didn't know that I was entitled to these things, and you look to try to get them, and then there's a whole bunch of red tape and hoops to jump through, and it just becomes a painful exercise. And that's sad to hear that that's happened for a number of people. I haven't been down that path or that process yet. To be honest, hopefully I don't. But the fact that a number of people that I know have and currently are in that process right now, in Australia at least anyway, is pretty sad and disappointing to hear. And just, I guess, as I think about that and then watch this for the first time, it's not surprising that they're meeting so many obstacles and challenges when you've got supposed leaders like this overseeing and running what happens and how Defence Force personnel are treated and or not treated.
That you are now inviting, well, three things actually. I think the officials have given you advice that they complied with the policy settings that are relevant for the legal assistance that may be provided to personnel. I think the second is that in asking them to make comment about the appropriateness of those steps, you're effectively asking them to offer an opinion about the current policy settings.
And what are they not? They're not asked. He's not asking them to offer an opinion about the current policy settings. He's asked them why they didn't step in to help or offer some sort of assistance. They did nothing. They sat back, did nothing, and that they should have an opinion about it. That's my take. Regardless, policy aside, yep. So you're saying that they've mentioned the policy, and the policy was for them to do nothing because it was a civil matter that Heston Russell raised. And so their policy sounds like you raised it, it's a civil matter, you're not in the Defence Force anymore, you served 16 years, but that doesn't matter to us, you're on your own. That's what it sounds like. Do they have an opinion of that? Is it all right to ask them if they have an opinion of that? Not that he's come out and said those exact words, so she's saying this, and maybe that is implied that he's asking for their opinion, but they should have an opinion. I would go, and maybe he does, but I would go further and ask them, anyone, including her, if they were in that situation and it was them that had served 5 years, 1 year, and then you're being charged with, or you are being defamed, if that's the right word, and then you're looking to bring a defamation case against a giant like ABC Media. It's not a little Foursquare or dairy down the corner of the road, right? It's a big, massive organization with a lot of, I assume, high-powered legal representation, deep pockets because it comes from taxpayers. And of course, they're going to resist and fight that. And they're going to try to squeeze a little person or seemingly somebody not with the same level of status, definitely not with the same amount of resources and financial support, and going to try to just bring everything to bear on them to scare them or make them run away. But there's a few things about soldiers, particularly those that go into an SF space. They're fairly stubborn. They're pretty resilient, and they're typically up for a fight when things happen. Don't get me wrong. Sadly, tragically, there've been a number of people in those same sort of from those same sort of environments and spaces that have tragically taken their own lives for whatever those reasons have been. Like, I guess everybody has a breaking point, and sadly, some people that have served in those spaces, for whatever those reasons are, have felt like they've reached theirs. But again, coming back to this lady, and I think she's only up to her second point, or she's given her first point. Put the policy and stuff aside, and give an honest opinion. Anus Bell or these other twats that are in uniform. Imagine if they were being sued for, or imagine if they were bringing a case of defamation against a large media outlet. I'm pretty sure they would love to have the support. And it's in relation to whilst you were serving in the Defence Force on operations overseas. And it's all false. It's lies, and they've edited footage, etc., etc. I'd like to think, I'm pretty confident these people flanking her in uniform and even her herself would want the support of the Defence Force that they served and were willing to risk it all for. but to get nothing and to not give an opinion of that, to hide behind a legal process was followed and it's in the best interest for the truth or whatever to be found out, and that it's a civil matter that he raised, so we do nothing. Yeah, my take is they're pretty weak, piss weak responses. My 2 cents anyway.
And I think the third thing is that, as just to remind you that Defence was not a party to these proceedings, and it's not really appropriate to ask them, as I think you've done just now, to comment on a civil
Shut up.
matter.
Okay, Minister, what do you say in response?
Well, I would...
Last question.
I'll put the question to you. I've just got one more after this.
I've got nothing to say, you bloody twat.
What's your opinion?
I think the officials have given you advice that they have sought to comply with the standard
Jenny McAllister. Bloody useless.
arrangements that are in place for providing legal support to personnel. I don't have any more to add in relation to that.
Because you're useless. That's why, Jenny McAllister. You have nothing more to add because you are frickin' useless.
Has the Defence Department been in contact with Heston Russell during his 3-year ordeal? Did the Defence Department attend his trial in the federal court? And has Defence reached out to Mr. Russell after his victory over the ABC?
That's a long pause, eh? I can only assume the answer is going to be no.
Senator, Rear Admiral Brett Wolski, the head of the Afghanistan Inquiry Response Task Force. I'm not aware of any official contact with Mr. Russell. Again, this was a civil defamation case brought about by a...
Far out. You fellas are useless. All of them. All 5 of them. Whoever these clowns are. Nobody, not even the minister, wanting to say anything. Oh, whatever his face is there in the white uniform is the only one with, I guess, enough guts to speak up and basically say no. We didn't reach out. Not before, not during, and not after his defamation case. Because we are useless.
Private person, and it's not appropriate to comment any further on it.
Thank you, Chair.
Wow. Thank you, Chair. I wouldn't be thanking them for blinking Jack. What a load of rubbish. Pretty poor in terms of what I just watched there. And massive respect to Heston, fighting through, following through, doing what he's done. Rubbish to these people that have chosen to do nothing to support. Sorry, there's some comments and stuff in here. Morning. Hey, bro, can I chuck through a message on email? Of course you can. Send through an email anytime. AWOL Stew, hope all is well with you across the ditch. Yep, all's well, bro. All they answer him with is, I'll take it on notice. His good stick is Malcolm Roberts. Yeah, it didn't even sound like they would take it on notice. From what I was listening, that was my first time hearing that. Worse than a fox amongst the chickens in the past. Let's hope they pull their socks up. Hate how you can hide behind civil matter and treating former DF Defence Force as private citizens. Same in New Zealand. Yeah, pretty rubbish, eh? Sad and disappointing that is what they've chosen to do or what they're choosing to do. Yeah, anyway, that's my take. Bloody half an hour just to go through this little 4-minute video. Appreciate anybody that's stopped by. There are a bunch of other questions and other videos which I'll get to. I think maybe I'll just do them as a, sorry for banging on the table. I think I'll probably just do them live. Maybe I'll do some other videos later and then whack those up. It's just quicker and easier and more convenient. But, oh, there we go. Utter rubbish. I'm just reading this here. Chris Hipkins slams Pete Hegseth's criticism of New Zealand freeloading. Utter rubbish. Haven't seen that one yet, and I haven't heard not the Defence Secretary, the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, the War Secretary, I think is his title. I haven't heard him calling New Zealand freeloaders. I don't know what that's in relation to, but clearly the New Zealand government have probably taken offence to that. Too bad. Probably need to do something a bit more in relation to investment into the Defence Force, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm not sure what's caused Pete Hegseth to get into that, but anyway, I'm sure I'll see something about it and maybe I'll do a reaction to it. But that's my take on this particular video around Heston Russell. Sad, disappointing to see that these leaders, including the Minister McAllister, would feel like it's okay to sit back and do nothing. Yeah, like I said, I can understand why people are sending me through questions around my thoughts on joining the Defence Force and do I think it's good. One thing I'll say is that I'm quite happy that one of our children who was going to join over there in the ADF is not doing that and is in the process of looking to join here in NZ instead. Not because I think one or the other is better. I would have been happy if he joined over there in Australia, but he's not, and he's choosing to, go through the process here because they've been dragging their heels over there. And given what's been happening over there and just looking at this sort of stuff, yeah, it does make me question now at this stage of my life, why would I personally want to join over there? And there doesn't seem to be a compelling reason for me to want to join as I look at it from this perspective of where I'm at now. Like I said, though, being honest, if I was 18 again or whatever, and like I said, I've shared in other videos, I already knew what I wanted to do when I was 14, maybe it wouldn't have changed my decision at all. And I think that's still the case, over there in Australia, or regardless, and the UK is likely the same as well. Yep, there's going to be some people probably maybe with a similar opinion to me, maybe people with a much harsher opinion and decision and stand than I would take. But there's still going to be people that will want to join. And yeah, I have nothing but respect for those that do decide to join and wish them nothing but the best. Do I think that they'll be okay and that they'll be well looked after? I don't know. All I can say is I hope they are. So anyway, that's it for this video. Yeah, we'll see how we go. As I said, this was a good little distraction actually from the other work that I've been doing. As I said at the start of the video, I'll get back into doing some other work on that later on and check the charts and the day trading stuff and then do some more work. But yeah, appreciate your time. Anybody out there, the message is always the same. Like challenges, trials, difficulties, hardships, like that's going to come for all of us, for you, me, those that we care about, those that we don't know. Everybody's going to go through that stuff. And some people may be perceived to have it harder than others. Some people might personally feel like they've got it harder than others. But my experience has shown me that sadly, there's always somebody who's in a worse position than what I've ever been in, even when I've been in places where I feel like things are just not going to get any better. I've always, sadly, I think at the right time, come across and seen when there are people in far worse positions than me. And that's been helpful to a degree, to get out of my own head and look at the perspective and look at others with the view of actually my situation might suck right now, but I can do something in some small way to potentially help this other person. And when that's happened, hasn't always happened, but when that has happened, it's been a good feeling. It's been a good opportunity to just detach from whatever other rubbish has been happening. So anybody out there that's going through some hard times or some challenging stuff at the moment, or some obstacles that are just really doing your head in and causing you to be frustrated, or maybe making you feel like you have to shut off a lot of the other stuff that you enjoy and the things that make you happy, and or maybe things that allow you to ventilate. I would encourage to not put those things off and not try not to be so engrossed or immersed in that stuff that may be really, I don't know if pulling you down is the right word, but maybe taking up and using up a lot of the positive bandwidth because you're having to invest so much time in trying to deal with the kaka that's happening. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, man. But just regardless of whatever those challenges are, keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other and just take one day at a time. Things can do and will get better. I know that for a fact. But we do have to want things to get better. If we don't, well, probably just going to stay in the same space of where we're at. So want things to get better, then take action to try to make those things better. And the sun will shine again. Those better days are closer than you and I think. So as always, go always a little further. Remember who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. Ka Keats. See you later.